think
I was going to say, I think
inquisitiveness. For me, it's inquisitive. That's always been the way. It's just, it's something that's built into us that makes us good at graphic design. And I think it's that Inquisitors always you say, I'm always interested in what's around the corner. And it was always there's that path you have this path that splits off in tangents. Sometimes it's a meandering path and sometimes it's a very sharp path. I think it's that healthy, and I think as designers and good designers never stop thinking about what is going to go next, and that's got to be good for you and it's got to be good for business.
I think that's right, but I think that's exactly right. But I think there's also there's an assumption about keeping ahead of the curve, and I think the way to keep ahead of it is just not have any interest and not bothers about having a curve. I do what I want to do, and we all do what we want to do, and like you're saying, that's for the benefit of the client. That's not just bloody mindedness. Well, sometimes it is bloody mindedness because I know that I can do something really good for the client, and I maybe even risk falling out with them over it because I feel sure with my experience that if I do what they want, that ultimately they'll be disappointed. But in terms of keeping ahead of the curve, it's people used to say, how come Designers Republic are so alternative? And it's just a nonsense question. Sorry, that those people that try and keep ahead of the curve are the ones that don't.
Yeah.
It happens organically. It emerges. If you're good at what you do and you're interested in what you do and you make great work, that's what determines the curve. But exactly. It's not premeditated.
I'm just completely motivated by seeing things that have never been done before, in the sense that if a happy accident happens with something we're doing and it shocks or surprises me, then I know it's good. It's like I guess I'm always open to be very stimulated, and that only really happens with the unfamiliar. So that's what I guess I'm always pursuing.
That comes back to the low boredom threshold thing, doesn't it? It's just
definitely.
I don't want to do something over and over again. Unless, there's sometimes I look back at work that I've personally done, and I kind of think I'm not sure I recognise the person that did that, because because if you create these worlds of different clients and you immerse yourself totally in it, it's almost you become on autopilot navigating around these things, and then 5 years, 10 years later you look back at it and I think, I don't know what I was thinking. Good God, what was I thinking when I did that? Well, sometimes, but actually I kind of think I don't. It's very difficult to recreate that because it was very much of the time and very much of the moment, and I think if you work intuitively, that's what you feed on all the time.
It's the delight of not knowing.
Discovery, all that stuff.
Probably not a good one for me because I only just finished using freehand, so I've literally just gone into Illustrator now.
Brilliant.
I felt really guilty the other day. It's one of the first few weeks that I haven't used freehand.
I've still got two machines that have done freehand because I have to have them for my legacy of work.
But for me personally, technology isn't something that it's not like Matt's world and Dave's world. That is their world. That's their career path or their path. And that's what they're interested in, where I'm personally much more interested in design and pure design and design rather than what a piece of equipment. But what has been interesting is, even with freehand or Photoshop back in the day, we would try and do stuff with Photoshop that you're not supposed to do with Photoshop, and that was the interest.
Technology, ahoy!
Oh my God.
Excuse me, that'll be one of my fans. Carry on, you work.
So technology for me it's just pretty much always been a means to an end to a huge degree. My work anyway. That's the technology.
So
he's got computers and everything.
Yeah, I don't actually have any technology. I have no computer in my studio at home. I don't have an iPhone, but what I do is work with people who are brilliant with technology, and that's an intentional move so that I stay completely naive to the actual how the hell do we program this or how the hell do we build this, so that my ideas aren't restricted by what I can do myself. So, and in terms of technology, and obviously we're working with many new technologies and sort of interactive and sensors and all sorts of things. They're all just powerful paintbrushes to me, really. They're just ways of extending your ideas beyond what other people might have done. So it's not really about being seduced by it or by doing a tech demo or having it basically showing off the technology. It's trying to make it as invisible as possible, so it's more about the kind of humanity of the work, but it just happens to be powered by technology. Yeah.
And I think that point about working with the experts in certain fields is so true. You know, I'd rather not be, you know, kind of do a bit of photography, do a bit of coding, do a bit of this. I'd rather just concentrate on design, which is what I'm good at.
You'll get lost in the detail. If you
Absolutely,
learn everything, you won't become, you won't be effective anymore.
Yeah. And then also these people, that is their world. You know, I want to work with somebody who is passionate as I am about design as they are about their skills. And it's much more exciting. It's like the projects are so much nicer. Absolutely, yeah.
I remember that when we were doing the very first Warp Records website, and it was like doing most of the Warp stuff, you know, and so it kind of felt at the time to me we will need a website. Okay, I'll do that. I had no idea. I don't know, and I kind of hardly ever went on the internet at all. I mean, I was a bit of a late starter on it really, and and I always use this as an example for students in that kind of you don't have to know or everything, because we won awards for that, and that was just basically because of a certain way of me saying I think you should move the navigation bar around instead of it being in one place. You should move it around, because that was my experience in freehand. You can move it around. So we just said to the web developers, okay, you know, then you just move the navigation bar around, and they're going, well, you can't really do that, but we'll give it a go. But that would never have happened if I'd have known how to do it, because I'd be restricted by my own knowledge. So, you know, if I'm working with a photographer and say, I don't want the sky to appear red because of some post-production. It needs to all happen in the shot. You know, that I've got no idea how to do that. But that doesn't mean to say that I can't have that idea.
Yeah, it can muddy the opportunity for common sense or intuition.
I think, one thing as well is within our, careers, and I think things are developing and moving so quickly now, and certainly when I started work, it was just print and that was it. And there's so many different areas that a graphic designer, for example, could go into. And certainly when I visit colleges and universities, and people say, what software should we be? What should we be concentrating on? Which kind of things you're using? And I just say, learn your craft. Don't worry about these programs, because the chances are that the actual job and you might be doing in 3 or 5 years, or the software hasn't even been invented yet. So
people hire people, not like what they can, not how they can operate a bloody piece of machinery.
Got lovely keyboard technique.
Yeah. Keystrokes amazing.